leading through the valley when God feels silent. Hey guys, Dan Greer with Forge coming at you today for your 5-minute power up. And today we're going to be chatting all about leading through the valley. We're talking about the valley when the shadows are coming upon you. You don't know if it's winter, you don't know if it's summer, and you feel like you're all alone in this leadership circle. And you know what? That happens more often than not, right? There's huge seasons of doubt. There's huge seasons of delay, and there's huge seasons of darkness that come on in our life. Right? I can tell you all about other people's darkness. I can tell you all about my own darkness. I can tell you that I face darkness and doubt every single day. And what happens when I start to doubt things? I start to delay them. And what happens when I start to delay them? I start to lose track of where it's going. I start to move slower because I'm doubting if I'm going to get there. So instead of running at full speed, I start slow motioning it. And then all of a sudden I'm walking. And then all of a sudden I'm walking backwards because that's scary up there at the end of that canyon, right? You see what I'm saying? So here's one thing I want to talk a little bit about. How to lead when you don't have the answers and the path isn't clear. This is not overcomplicated. Are you ready for this? I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to step one step back so you can see my feet. Ready? This is how you lead when you're not sure where you're going. You take one step forward. And then you take another step forward. And then you take another step forward. And then you take another step forward. Now all of a sudden you're at the front of the gate. You're at the front of the room. You're killing it. You're moving. And it becomes easier and easier and easier and easier and easier to take steps. When you don't have the path, when you don't have the answers and you don't know if the path isn't clear, you have to trust that you're taking the right step. You have to trust that you're stepping on a stone, not alligator's back. Do trust. If it is an alligator's back, they're not going to snap at your leg. And if they do snap at your leg, you're going to be able to hop off of them really quick. Right? You see what I'm saying? You have to trust God's timing when your timeline isn't screaming. You have to trust it. You have to trust that you're on the right path. You have to trust you're moving in the right direction. Okay? There's so many stories in the Bible about biblical leaders as they walk through valleys. Look at David. David was a shepherd. He was crowned king. Before he just went back and he was like, I'm just going to go tend more sheep. Even though he's king, he's like, I'm just going to go back and watch the sheep some more. And then he's called to take some food to his brothers who are fighting a war. And he's like, who's this dude talking trash about my God? You can't do that, bro. You're going down. Like downtown down, right? See what I'm saying? He trusted God's timing. There's so many stories in the Bible like Joseph, Job, right? So many stories. Practical faith is when the breakthrough feels far away. And I want you to know that. When you practice faith, okay, it's knowing you're going in the right direction, knowing you're moving in the right area, knowing you're going to get there eventually, not giving up. But it feels like the breakthrough is like way, way out there. It's like miles in front of you. But it's a little glimmer of a light that you can see, okay? I want you to think about that for a second. And the valley is where you're forged. When you come into the season of doubt, when you come into the season of delay, when you come into the season of darkness, that's where the real forge happens. That's where you're really growing. It doesn't happen when you're on top of the mountaintop looking down on top of everybody going, oh my gosh, this is amazing. It happens on the hike up there. When you slip and slide back down. When you put your foot in the wrong place and it twists an ankle, that's where you get forged. That's where you really become the great leader in life that you're called to be is in those times when it feels like it's harder than it should be. It's not when you're standing on top when you've achieved where you want to go. That's not where you're forged. It's the journey from down here to the top of the mountain that's the forged journey, and that's what makes you the leader you are. So today, I want you to keep leading. I want you to keep praying. I want you to keep showing up, even when you can't see the outcome. And while you're at it, grab a copy of Greg, Grease, and Grace. Yeah, you thought I was going to go a day without plugging it, but you were wrong. Wrong, fool. Never give up. All right, I'm kidding. All right, I'm not kidding about grabbing the copy. Grab the copy. But I'm kidding about calling you a fool. Hope you guys enjoy. Hope you got a lot out of this, and I hope you share this podcast with one person. All right, talk to you guys later.